welcome to my channel. Today we are going to sew Palazzo Jumpsuit. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. Follow me on Facebook, Max Fashion Line or Ajo Aka. And these are the measurements we are going to use. This is what we are going to use for the upper part, and this is what we are going to use for the lower part. I'll put all the measurements on the screen for you to see. And when we come to the trousers part, we are going to use our hips 44 divided by 4, making 11. Thigh measurement is 30. Actually my thigh measurement is 28, but because I want it loose, I'm using 30 divided by 2 is 15. Our waist to knee is 22. Because it's palazzo, we will not really measure knee circumference. Trouser length is 41 plus 3. The 3 is for the crotch, because it's a jumpsuit. We are adding 3 inches to it, and the plus 2 is allowance. Then we'll come to around ankle. As I said, because it's also a palazzo, we are not going to need the ankle circumference. Then we are going to use our waist measurement. We are going to make it 36 instead of 34, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. And our crotch, this is how you determine your crotch. The crotch is your hip divided by 4 plus 3. That is the 3 we added to the length of the trousers. So 11 plus 3 making 14. That is where we'll take our crotch line from. 3 inches because it's jumpsuit, so that you can sit comfortably without any form of stress. So these are the measurements we are going to use. We will line the jumpsuit, we will line, and we have our tools also here. Let's do the down part, that is the trouser part, before we come to the upper part of the dress. The trouser length is 41. I want it very down. The trouser length is 41. 3 inches plus 3 inches for the crotch, and plus 2 inches are sewing allowance, and that is going to be altogether 46. So when we measure, we need 46 length for our trousers. 46, and this is exactly 46. I am marking from the inside of the fabric, not the outer part. In order to determine the width of the fabric, we will use the thigh measurement to determine the width. The thigh measurement is 30 divided into 2, making 15. Even though the hip measurement is the bigger part, which is 44, but if you use 44, it means you are dividing 44 into 4, making 11, and that would be very small. And so we use the thigh measurement, which is 15. We are going to cut the front of the trousers before we will cut the back of the trousers. And so we are going to fold our fabric into 15 plus allowance. So we have 17 here. 17, 2 inches is going to be for our allowance. So I will mark 2 inches down. 2 inches out. Okay, so this is going to be our starting point, and this is where we'll have our allowance from. Now when we look at the measurements, we have the crotch to be 14, and so we are going to measure 14. That is our hip plus 3 inches, 14. So we'll measure 14 here, but I will add ½ inch to it, 14, and we are measuring 14 throughout, 14.5 throughout, 14.5, because I will join the upper part to it. So 14.5. So the ½ inches is for joining at the top. Okay. And and down here is our length. Okay, and so this is where we are going to take our crotch measurement, and this is exactly where we'll place our thigh and our hip measurement. Now our hip measurement is, when our thigh measurement is 15, so we'll place it here. We'll mark 15. This is where 15 is, exactly 15. This is where 15 is. Then our hip measurement is 11. This is 11. Instead of 11, we are going to make it 12 because I don't want it tight. I don't want my hip tight, and so we are going to make it 12. So we have difference to be 3, and so we'll be marking 12. Also here 12. Okay, so this is it, and this is 3. We will measure 3 up. 3 up, that is where we are going to take our crotch from. 3 up, and we use our curve to draw out our crotch. Draw it, and that is it. Now because it's a palazzo, from this point we just make it straight, but we want a bit of shape in it, a bit of shape. Now when we come to this part, the waistline, my waist is 36. I made it 36 divided by 4, that is 9, and so this is going to be 9. This is 9, but I'm not going to make it exactly 9. I'll add some allowance to it, so I'll leave it at 12. And then this part is going to have some allowance. I'm adding 1 inch to this, 1 inch here, so that I can have it 1 inch here. Okay, 1 inch here. Then I'll use this, my curve, to curve it from here. So when we come to the knee area, I wanted to go in by 1, but I just remembered I've added 1 inch at the hip area, so no need going in by 1, so I can still get my shape. So I'm going to draw it to this point. Then when we come to the ankle area, I can decide to either leave it like that, or if I leave it like that, it's going to be, I have 14 here. I think 14 is going to be too big for me, so I'm going to leave it at 12, and then I'll be leaving this one too at 12. And so if it's 12, this is what I have here, it's 15. 15 divided into 2 will be 7.5. This is 7.5. 7.5. I'm going to make this thing 12, so 6. I'll put 6 here, 6 here. This is 6, and this one too, this is 12. So even the one I left there, this is 12. So this is the 12. Then I'm going to get the middle of this one also, which is 14, because this place is cut off, so it's 14. So it's going to be 7. And 7, I'm marking 12. So this is 6 here, and this one too is 6. I don't want it too big. This one too is 6. 6. Okay. Okay, now this is what you are going to do. We are going to join the points. we are going to join these points. And so at the hip area, the 1 inch I added to the hip area, I'm going to take it off. So this is from the hip to the 12 we measured here. So this is the 12. Forget about this line and focus on this one. And from our waist to the hip, we are forgetting about this 1 inch, and I made a mistake, so I'm going to join it this way. I want to have the curve because our shape is not straight. Women, our shape is not straight. We need a bit of curve, and so this is a curve. Okay, so we are cutting through this. Okay, then we'll join this line. And we are going to join this to this, this to this, and straight. We'll use this to join. We use the curve to join. It's not going to be that straight. And then we'll join to this place. So we are going to cut through. And this is what I'm going to do. I added some inches, that is 2 inches to it. Before drawing, I don't want to waste my fabric. So when you are cutting, you can decide not to add that. I don't want to waste my fabric, so I'm going to pull it back so that I will not waste my fabric. Okay, so this is where the hip shape is, up to this place. Okay, so we are going to cut through the lines. So this is for the front part of our palazzo. Let me do my demarcations, my markings at this part so that I don't end up turning it. So this is the front part of it. We are going to take one to cut the back. We'll put this one aside. Now the back is supposed to be longer than the front because of our back, our ass. So the back is supposed to be longer than the front, and because of that, we are not going to use this length, because if we use this length, it's not going to be enough. So we'll turn the fabric to this position. And with the back too, you add 3 inches or 2 inches to the crotch area. And so we are going to cut the back, and for the back we will add 2 inches up here. We'll add 2 inches. If you are a slim person, you can do 1 or 1.5, but for me, I'm adding 2 inches here. 2 inches at the where you took your crotch from, that is where you added 2 inches. This is the hip area, so we connect from the 2 to the hip side. From the 2, connect from the 2 to the hip side. From the 2 to the hip side. And so this is it, to the hip side. Now 3, we'll measure 3 inches here from at the crotch area. We are going to add 3 to it. This is 3. Then from the knee area, we'll be adding 2 inches as allowance. 2 inches, you can do 1.5. 2 inches. 2 inches. 2 inches. Okay. I'll add 1 inch. I'll add 1 inch allowance. So I've added 1 inch at the back area. So we are going to cut it through. Okay, so we have for both our back and front part of our jumpsuit. Okay, so we are going to cut lining for our palazzo. We are going to cut, and when you look at the lining is not up to the length of the palazzo, so we'll join the lining from the down. At the end of the day, we are going to fold the down. We'll fold the down by 2, and so we'll join about 2 inches lining at the down to be able to attach the lining. So this is the back part of the palazzo. We'll do the same thing for the front. Okay, now we are going to cut the upper part of the dress. Upper part is an off-shoulder dress. We'll do our markings on the lining, then after we'll put it on the fabric and cut it. My bust measurement is 42 divided by 4 is going to give me 10.5. So this is 10.5 plus 3, 1, 2, 3, 13.5. I'm going to mark it 14. 14, this is 14. Okay, then off shoulder, I'm taking 4 inches from the shoulder. So I'll place the 4 inches here at the starting point of the lining, and then my half length is 17. So this is my 17 plus 1 inch allowance will be 18. So this is it. This is going to be for the front part of the dress. And I'm going to cut the back part of the dress. The back part, I'll give it a zip allowance of 2 inches. Yes, this is 2. It is very important that when you are cutting fabric, you iron your fabric out so that you get the right thing. So because my lining has crumpled, I'm going to give it a little bit of pressing. I'm going to place a measurement on it. For the neck width, because it's an off shoulder, I'm going to make it, I'll make it 7. And okay. Then at the front part, front neck to be 6.5, 6.5, and then the back neck, I'm going to measure it to be 9. So I'm giving the front, I'm giving the neck a round neck shape. Okay, and the back, I'm going to place the mark here. The back, I'm going to give it so this is it. There's a zip line over there. Instead of 9 at the neck, at the back, I'm going to make it 10 because of the zip line. So I'll get it here. Now if I bring it here, this is 9, exactly 9, you see. When we come to the armhole, we'll place the 4 inches I took from it. My armhole is 18 divided by 2 is 9, so I'll mark the 9 here. Yes, then I'm going to join this to my neckline or my shoulder, that is the the off shoulder line. Okay, so that's it. Now we'll come to my underbust. My underbust is 15. I'm going to make it 15 and a half. I'm using underbust because I don't want my dress to be too loose on me. 15 and a half. Then I'm going to measure my bust, shoulder to bust. It's 11. I'm going to make it 11 and a half. I'm going to mark our dart. My dart is 9. I'm placing 4.5 inch, and this is the waistline. I'll place 4.5 inch also there. I'm going to join the points. At the waistline, at the waist, I'm going to mark half here, half inch on both sides. Then at the underbust, I'm going to mark half and quarter. So that will be 1.5. So this is 1.5. Okay, I'm going to join the dots. And this underbust is only for the front. The back is not parts. I'm going to trace it so I can get the back dart too. When you come to the back dart, it doesn't start from the bust line. So my back dart is 8. That's shoulder 2. Where my back dart will start from. The back dart is higher than the front dart, so I'm marking it 8, and this is my 8. I'll draw the line through, and this is the waistline, so I'll come in half inch on both sides, half inch on both sides. Okay, then we'll join. We'll not use the curve for it, we just join it straight. We just use the same thing to trace for the other side. Okay, so we'll turn. We are going to place our measurement on it. My bust, I'm going to maintain this. Then I'll come to my waist. My waist is 34 divided by 4 is going to be 8.5 plus 1 inch, 9.5. But I'm going to make my waist 10.5 because I don't want it to be too tight on me. I'm going to make it 10.5 plus 2 inches allowance. It's going to be 12.5. So I'll make it 12.5. I don't want it too tight on me. I'll place the same 12.5 underbust, but underbust I'll add half to it, making it 13. And because of that, I'm going to make the waist also 13, so I don't get any funny shape when I'm cutting. As I said, my bust is 10.5. This is 10.5 plus 2 inches allowance, 12.5, but I'm making it 14. When I finish and the allowance is too much for me, I can decide to trim it. And so the bust is going to be from here. So I'm going to join it from the armhole area straight down. So this is it. This is, I'm going to cut through this, then I'll cut the neck and cut the armhole. Okay, the armhole side, I'm going to come in by half an inch for the front armhole. So this is it. Okay, 9. So I'm going to mark 4.5. Then I'll come in by 0.5 for the front armhole. So I'm going to mark it. So it's going to be like this. The front armhole will go in a bit. Okay, so we'll cut the back armhole. Then we'll cut the front neck together with the back neck. After, we'll take it off and trim the back. I didn't cut it exactly at 10. Okay. And so at this point, I'm going to trace my dots at the other side so I can get it for both. So this is it. So we have the front this way. We have both our dots in. So by the time I finish lining the dress, I'll be able to locate my dot and sew it easily. Okay, the back one too, I'm going to do the same thing. Now decided to cut it exactly at 10. We are going to place it on the fabric and cut it. When I was cutting the trousers, I made a mistake, so I have to be joining some parts of the fabric. Okay, so we'll pin it and cut. This is the front part of the dress. The back part, when I divide the zip allowance and I join it to be like this. Okay, we'll divide this into 2. Okay, so this is the back and this is the front of the dress. This is what we'll use for the sleeve. The sleeve will put an elastic band in it, so it will be like goddess. And here, this is belt for the jumpsuit. Okay, we are going to cut a pocket for the jumpsuit. We are going to bring the front part and cut our pocket. I decided to cut the upper part first before I cut the pocket. And so the pocket, we are going to measure 3 inches here, 3 inches here. That is the hip line. From the hip line, we'll measure 3 inches. Then we'll slant down 7 inch here. Then we are going to shape it to the 7 here. You can decide to have it straight or curve it. So this is my pocket. I'll cut it. So that is it. Whenever you are cutting the pocket, make sure front side are facing so that you don't make a mistake. Because the fabric is not enough to cut the pocket, we are going to use the lining to cut the pocket. Pocket, I'm going to make it 14 by 14. I have this by 14 is, I'm cutting it at 13. We'll use some of the fabric as an interface. So then we'll put the pocket on each other. Please, this is a lining, so however I place it, it doesn't matter. But if you are using a fabric, make sure that you place it right side facing right side. Do not place it anyhow. Let right side face right side. If not, you get your pocket wrong. You place this one on top like this because you are going to sew. So trim off this. Okay, so this is what we have for both pockets. So at the end of the day, we have this. That's why I said it's lining. It doesn't matter how I place it. I have my interfacing here on this side. Let me check if the length of this is exactly the same. Okay, I have it nice. Okay, then I'm going to cut the same thing for the other side, which is also going to be 9. Okay, so I'll put it here. So if you're using a lining for the interfacing, let it face this way. So one will go to right pocket, one will go to left pocket. So I have it this way. So we have it this way. See, so the fabric is facing each other. Okay, and so this is it. Okay friends, we are done with the cutting of our off-shoulder palazzo jumpsuit. Oh, we'll have another video on the sewing, how to join all these together. So the top, the upper part of the dress, back and front. This is the front, this is the back. This is what you are going to use for the sleeve. Trouser, this is the back parts of it, the back, and this is the front part of it. Okay, then we have our pockets, we have our belts. Okay, thank you. Please, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and share the video. Thank you, and God richly bless you.